Hello, my name is Julia. Welcome to my small kitchen. Today I'm gonna help you meal prep maybe a little bit better. So when we have multiple meals set up for the week, those meals may not be the same amount. So let's say on one day I want to have this amount of rice, on the next day I want to have a different amount, and the third day's a different amount. But you only want to meal prep on one day. So I'm going to teach you how to meal prep on one day for different amounts on different days. If that doesn't make sense, just bear with me because I think that this can actually be very helpful. Because if your goal is weight loss, if your goal is muscle gain, any of that, your food is going to play a large role in that. And if you want to get buff, you have to know how to eat. And if you want to know how to eat properly, you need to know how to cook properly. And so this is going to help teach you a lot about that. So let's get buff together and I'm going to teach you. Okay, so let's say that we are prepping for 5 days. And these are the amounts of rice that we want on each day. So day 1, we want 50 grams, then day 2, 70, day 3, 30, day 4, also 30, but then day 5 goes back up to 50. So when you add all this together, you get a total of 230 grams. So that's gonna be the amount of rice that we weigh out to make. If you wanna know an easy way to know the amount of water is really just the amount of rice that you have multiplied by 2. So then you get 460 grams of water. So you know that you need to measure out exactly 460 grams of water to make 230 grams of rice. Now, this is making it in a pot, not a rice cooker. It might be a different amount in a rice cooker. I don't own one, so we're gonna use a pot. And so this is just what I do to figure out the exact amount of water that I need. So now you can see that I have weighed out exactly 230 grams of rice. So the next step is for you to actually cook this rice. I am not going to show you me cooking rice because I think you can figure that one out on your own. But I will come back when it's finished and I'm going to show you exactly how you can take that finished rice and split it up exactly how you want it. So while your rice is cooking, you need to grab the right amount of Tupperware. So if I'm making it for 5 days, I need 5 Tupperware. You need your food scale, and then you're also gonna need a big bowl that's gonna be able to hold all of the rice you make, because what we're gonna do is actually weigh the finished product, and that number is gonna be really, really important. So at this point, our rice is done. You can see it here. So get your food scale, make sure it's set to 0, and have a big bowl on top. And so what you're gonna do now is just put your rice completely into this bowl. Okay, so this number here, you guys can't see it, but it says 632. Make sure that you write that number down. I'm going to keep track of it in the next shot, but that's the most important number. The two most important numbers are the dry weight of the rice and also the total finished weight. Okay, so once we know the actual total cooked weight, what we can then do is get the ratio of the cooked to dry. So if we have 632 and we divide it by 230, we get a very important number. And so in our case right now, that number is 2.75. That's rounded, it's not the exact number. It really doesn't matter that much, but we know 2.75. And so that's gonna be really important when we are going back through and trying to figure out what to put in each Tupperware container. So it's actually pretty simple in terms of what we have to do next. And all we have to do is take these dry weights and multiply them by this number. So for day 1, 50 grams dry. So let me make sure you guys can see this. So 50 multiplied by 2.75, 50 times 2.75 gives us 137.5. So I know that now this number here, that is the amount of cooked rice that I need to put in the Tupperware container to be the same thing as 50 grams of dry rice. So if I wanted to then figure out what day 2 was, which is 70, I would just do the same thing. So 70 times the 2.75. So 2.75 times 70 is 192.5. So I know for day 1 I do 137.5. I know for day 2 I do 192.5, and it continues onward. So you can actually check yourself too. When you go through and multiply each day by this ratio, the total sum of these numbers should equal 632. Let's say I want to measure out what I'm going to eat for the first day. Based on the math, we know that that's going to be around 138 grams. So what we do is we make sure that this down here says 0, and we're going to get our Tupperware ready. And so we take our scoop and spoon, and we just take until the negative number is what we're looking for. So normally I'm not this accurate. I really don't care that much. If you're obsessing over getting down to the exact gram, that's probably not a great thing. Okay, so 139, that's close enough for me. So this would be what I would eat on a day that I am supposed to eat 50 grams of dry rice. Right here. And so now you would go through and fill up the rest of your containers, and assuming that you've done your math correctly, by the time you get to the last container, it should be exactly the amount that you need. Alright, so I went through and divided up the rice exactly how I wanted to. These are the 30 grams of dry, 50 grams, and there's 70. What can be really helpful is taking a Sharpie and just writing directly onto the container, because you won't forget and it'll make your life a lot easier. I hope that this video was helpful. Thank you for sticking around until the end. I hope you found that this was somewhat helpful or maybe educational in some regard. But otherwise, keep staying buff, keep lifting, keep eating, track your food, track your progress, and then maybe you will see progress.